The garage. You are 16. Your grandfather died on a Wednesday. You did not cry at the funeral because you were 16, and crying at 16 felt like a decision you did not know how to make in front of people. On Saturday, your father drives you to your grandfather's house. Not the house. Behind the house. The garage. Inside, under a canvas tarp, the color of old bread, sits a 1994 Ford F-150. Blue. Not the blue that cars are now, which is a blue decided by a committee and a focus group. Just blue. The blue of a man who walked into a dealership in 1994 and said, "The blue one," and never thought about it again. Your father pulls off the tarp. Dust rises and hangs in the light the way only garage dust knows how to hang. Slow. Like it has nowhere to be. The truck has 214,000 miles. The bench seat is vinyl, cracked in 3 places, repaired with tape that has yellowed into its own color. The cab smells like motor oil and spearmint gum. Those 2 smells together will become the most important smell of your life, and you do not know this yet. You will know it in 25 years when you walk through a garage that costs more than your grandfather's house and none of the cars in it smell like anything at all. Your father hands you the key. He says, he wanted you to have it. Then he says what your grandfather always said when you took the truck. Bring it back. You will hear those 3 words in your sleep for the next 30 years. You will never be sure if he meant the truck. You drive it for 3 years. 61,000 miles. The truck pulls to the right. The radio gets 2 stations, both country. The heater works on a 15-minute delay, which means every winter morning begins with faith. You drive it to school. You drive it to your first job bagging groceries at the Kroger on Route 4. You drive it to pick up Hannah Reeves for prom. She has to climb into the cab because the running board rusted off 2 years before you were born. She grabs the handle above the door and pulls herself up in a dress that costs more than the truck's monthly insurance. She laughs. You laugh. 20 years later, you will own a car with doors that open by themselves, and you will not be able to remember the last time anyone laughed getting into one of them. You drive the truck to the lake at 2 in the morning the night your mother tells you she and your father are separating. You sit on the tailgate with your feet hanging off and the engine ticking in the dark and the smell of spearmint still in the cab behind you. You are 18 and the world just broke a thing you thought was permanent. The truck does not fix it. The truck holds you while it is broken. That is not nothing. That is more than most things will ever do for you, including several of the cars that come next. You sell the truck at 19 for $800 to pay for textbook. You hand the buyer the keys and you almost say it. Bring it back. You do not say it. He drives away. The blue disappears around the corner. You are 23. A 2003 Nissan Sentra. Maroon. 147,000 miles. $1,600 from a woman named Gloria who said, "It doesn't look like much, but it goes." The Sentra goes. 72,000 miles under your ownership. It leaks oil the way old men tell stories. Slowly, constantly, without apology. You check the oil every Friday morning because your grandfather checked the oil every Friday morning, and that is the inheritance no one put in the will. You meet Jade in the Sentra. Her shampoo smells like coconut. Cheap coconut. The kind from a white bottle on a drugstore shelf. You will spend $340 on a candle 15 years from now trying to find that smell again. The candle will smell like coconut the way a photograph sounds like a voice. Close, not close enough. You kiss her for the first time parked behind a Walgreens because the restaurant lot was full and neither of you wanted the night to end in a well-lit place. The engine was off. The windows fogged. She said, "This car is freezing." You said, "I know." Nobody moved. You get laid off in the Sentra. You sit in the parking lot for an hour with your hands at 10 and 2 on a steering wheel going nowhere. You drive home. You stop at a gas station. You check the oil even though it is a Tuesday because checking the oil is the only thing that still makes sense. It is low. You add half a quart. The car runs. You run. You sell the Sentra for $400. You do not watch it leave. You are 30. A new Honda Accord, $31,000. Monthly payment, $410. Your first car with no one else's miles on it. No one's oil stain. No one's seat shape. No one's smell. It smells like new car, which is the smell of nothing pretending to be something. The heater works immediately. There is no 15-minute faith period. You turn it on and the warmth is just there. You do not earn it. You receive it. You stop checking the oil on Friday. The car has a sensor. Something small dies when the sensor replaces the habit, but you do not notice because convenience is a quiet killer. It replaces what it killed with comfort. And you do not feel the difference until you are standing in a garage 15 years from now, wondering why your hands feel empty on Friday morning. Your mother sees the Accord at Thanksgiving. She walks around it once. She says, "That is a nice car." At dinner, she asks if you have been sleeping enough. She does not ask about the car again. You wanted her to ask about the car again. You drive 12,000 miles the first year. It is the most you will ever drive from this point forward. No one tells you when you pass the peak of something. You only find out later on the other side, looking back. You are 36. An Audi, $54,000. You chose the color after 30 minutes on a configurator, which is more time than you spent choosing your health insurance. The first time you park at a restaurant, the valet takes your key differently. Not faster. Differently. The way you hold something that belongs to someone you have already decided matters. The difference between the Sentra and the Audi is not leather and a turbo engine. It is 17 seconds of a stranger's eye contact that you paid $54,000 to receive. You run into Jade at a grocery store on a Saturday. She is loading bags into a Honda Odyssey. A car seat is visible through the back window. She sees you before she sees the car. She says your name the way she used to say it, and for 3 seconds you are 24 again, behind a Walgreens, fogged windows, cheap coconut in the air. Then a child says, "Mama," from inside the Odyssey. Jade smiles. She says, "It was good to see you." She drives away. The exhaust has a small rattle. You stand next to a $54,000 Audi that does not rattle, does not leak, does not fog, does not smell like coconut, and you understand for the first time that the most important car you ever sat in cost $1,600 and you sold it for $400, and you will spend the rest of your life looking for it in parking lots you will never find. The Sentra costs 2 cents a mile. The Audi costs $1.30. You did not calculate this at the time. You are calculating it now. You are 42. A Porsche. $118,000. The car you stared at through the window of the restaurant where you worked at 17, still smelling like fryer oil, standing next to your grandfather's blue truck. You thought, one day. That thought was free. The car costs $1,600 a month in payment and insurance. $1,600 a month. The exact price of the entire Sentra. 1 month of owning the dream equals 4 years of living the life. You drive it on weekends, 42 miles a week. The Sentra did 42 before noon. One Saturday at 1 in the morning, you cannot sleep. You do what you used to do in the truck at 18. You get in. You drive. Highway, windows down, no destination. The Porsche does 60 in 3.4 seconds. The truck could not do 60 without shaking. And the highway is the same highway, and the night is the same temperature, and you wait for the feeling. The feeling of being young and broke and driving towards something you cannot name. The speed comes. The sound comes. The feeling does not. You take the next exit. You drive home. Your grandfather would have looked at this car for 2 seconds and said, "How much?" You would have told him. He would have gone quiet in the way he went quiet when he did not approve but loved you too much to say so. You are 47. 3 cars. A Mercedes for weekdays, the Porsche for weekends. A classic you bought because your advisor said it would appreciate. It has appreciated. It has also not moved since March. Combined value, $814,000. Combined miles driven last year, 4,200. Your grandfather's truck did 20,000 a year. The Sentra did 18,000. 1 car, no garage, no advisor. You hired a detailer named Marco. Marco comes every Thursday. He hand washes each car with a chamois cloth, treats the leather, dries the wheels with a separate towel. He does this with a care you have not shown these cars in months. Marco drives a 2009 Civic with a missing hubcap and a daughter who just started nursing school. He parks it outside your garage every Thursday. You have never looked at his car. He has never not looked at yours. One Thursday you come home early. Marco is standing beside the Porsche, not washing it, standing with one hand on the hood, eyes closed, the way a man touches something sacred. 5 seconds, maybe 7. Then he opens his eyes, picks up the cloth, goes back to work. Marco, in 7 seconds with his eyes closed, had more of that Porsche than you have had in 5 years. He felt what it was supposed to make you feel. He felt it for free. That night, you take out your phone. You type 1994 Ford F-150 Blue. You scroll. Wrong blue, wrong cab, wrong year. Then you find one. Same year, same blue. 197,000 miles. Someone else's miles. Someone else's garage. You buy it. $4,800. It arrives on a flatbed on a Tuesday. You sit inside. You put your hands on the steering wheel. You wait for the smell. Motor oil, yes. Spearmint. No. It smells like someone else's grandfather, someone else's Saturday morning, someone else's bring it back. You sit there for 11 minutes, then you get out. You sell it the following week. The buyer asks why. You say, "It is not mine." He says, "The title is in your name." You say, "That is not what I mean." You walk back into the garage. 3 cars, climate controlled, perfectly waxed, going nowhere. You think about the truck, the Sentra, Jade and her coconut shampoo and the fogged windows behind a Walgreens. Your grandfather's hands on a steering wheel for 214,000 miles. The oil you checked every Friday until a sensor told you to stop. The smell of spearmint that no amount of money can put back inside a car that was not his. Bring it back. You have been hearing it for 30 years. You thought he meant the truck. He did not mean the truck. He meant you. Bring yourself back. Back to the version that checked the oil with your own hand. Back to the version that drove 20,000 miles a year because you had somewhere to be. Back to the version that kissed a girl in a freezing car behind a drugstore and did not care that the heater was broken because the cold was the excuse to stay close. You cannot bring it back. That is the truth you have been driving away from in faster and faster cars for 25 years. The most expensive car you ever owned cost $118,000. The most important one cost $1,600. You sold it for $400. Not the car, the mile.